Hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of GPVWC's Super League. We're here at Bath full of loners and we're here for the qualifying session, just coming down to 10 minutes to go mark for tonight's Grand Prix. Oh yeah, my name's Simon Smith and as ever I'm never alone. Got Simon Malouche as cameraman extraordinaire and I have a new sidekick with me this evening. I've got Mr. Tom Parker. How you doing, Tom?
Hello, yeah, it's very nice to be here, very nice to be commentating along with you for the first time ever, so this will be a interesting experience, I'm sure.
Ah, well I bought you a dozen red roses, my good man. So, setting the bed out.
I bought the condom, so...
Always believe in safe first gearing. That's what I believe in. In fact, so just Formula Challenge, we can introduce launch control. That's how safe we want to be. And however, I still ended up upside down into turn 1. We've just gone past the 10-minute mark to go in the qualifying session, and the pace is being set currently by Lucas Euler for Simcraft Midnight Motorsport on a 1:16.714. Just popping into the pits, teammate Alex Cooper second, ahead of Tom van der Voort, who's just been displaced by his fellow Nijo Racing teammate Rude Heasterbeek, so being very rude to get into the third place position. Ahead of Torrent Motorsports Jim Parisis, Jordan Weeks, then Woods Racing Mark Wicks showing a surprising show of form at the moment, ahead of Peter Casa, Adam Rouse and Bart de Vos, your top 10. What's your thoughts on this Barcelona circuit, Tom?
It's one that's going to be very dictated by how good the car is. I mean, last year we saw, I don't remember who won it, but I remember I caused a massive pile-up. So that was
good
an interesting
times.
Experience. Oh yeah, but it's a very car-based track. I mean, we've also been talking to Dave Carr-Smith this week, and he's been saying how much he's struggling because the Norton's only the 8th best car, and as you can see, Jordan's 6th, but I think I'm not sure if he's set a time yet, but yeah, he hasn't, but he's down in 22nd. He's not really expecting much for this race, so I'm expecting the Midnights to run away with it. I mean, Rude's done quite a good job to get within 3/10 of Lucas and Alex, so yeah, it's down to whoever's got the best car, really, and I think we're going to see a Midnight 1-2.
Oh well, that's that all. See you next time. Toodles! So, yeah, I mean, what would you say, though, is going to be the absolute prime piece of equipment or upgrade that would really make dividends around here?
I can't remember what we were saying, but I think Dirty Air could be quite an important one here because obviously there's quite a few long corners. So having the Dirty Air sorted will be good for people who want to go run onto the final corner maybe. Obviously very good turn, and especially in turn 9, those two corners, turn 1 and turn 9. Opportunities to get a slingshot and get past people, so it's the case of who's got the best package and who's ballsy enough to make the move, really.
Absolutely. Well, that's good insight there, and I suppose for Dirty Airs it's always good if you're in dirty Spanish territory, as someone was taking a right little mini spin just into the slightly neutered Sector 3. I detest this circuit. It's always been a bogey track of mine. I looked so amateurish, I might as well have driven with a keyboard on Tuesday. It was dreadful, but never mind. I shall put aside my differences for you, Catalonia, but I do agree that it is one that absolutely tests the car as a whole, and you can completely see why it's used as a developmental track in real life, actually, to be fair. So, yeah.
Indeed, yeah, it's just one that's so car-based. Like I said, F1 use it for testing a lot, so it's one of those ones that gets overused, in my opinion, but it's a nice track. I mean, I enjoy it. I'm good at qualifying here, not so good in the race, but I've always had a good turn of speed. Another one who's got a good turn of speed around here is Mark Wicks. He's actually in 8th place at the moment. In 2011, I remember he had a bit of a naff season, but he came to Barcelona and got 5th, so could be seeing Wixie up there today. He's really seems to be really quick round here.
Well, Woods Racing are in need of some points. They're currently 10th in the Constructors' Championship. We'll run through the order of that later on as we're coming into the final third very soon of the session, as someone that's Peter Casa moves up into 5th position for Torrent Motorsport. So indeed, it's a little bit Noah's Ark actually, with the Midnights 1-2, Nijo's 3-4, and now Torrents are 5 and 6. Nordzone's Jordan Weeks bucking the trend at the moment in 7, but teammate Dave Carr-Smith is only out on his first lap now, and he's the one that's left to do a lap. 4.8 seconds cover the entire field. Christoph Lichtenstein in 25th there, and you say he's on primes there, Tom?
Yeah, Dave's on the prime, so maybe another interesting strategy move here from Dave. So we might be seeing him doing a long first stint again, like he did in Hungary, if I remember rightly, and look how that turned out for him.
Yeah, indeed. Georgios Davakos actually for Halcyons on primes as well. So he's not the only one running alone in this one, as is Mark Johnston for Kernow. So couple of people deciding to buck the trend here. And I suppose with a car, because you're always in a corner around this circuit, aren't you? Steve Verloy's another one. Tyre wear will be an issue. I know it certainly was for my league, as Jim Parise spins it out of the final turn, so that is a wasted lap there, and that will waste his start lap for this time because you won't get the momentum before you actually get across the line.
Yeah, final corner is very, very, very important. So, shape of Jim there, but Dave's up to 8th, so like I said, Noah's Ark continues down to 7th and 8th. He's still behind Jordan Weeks though, so interesting there, but obviously Jordan on the options, and Dave on the primes. Both the Torrents are also on primes as well, so it's nice. It's a case of what can they do really if they put the options on. Obviously 5th and 6th at the moment, as Rudy Heasterbeek goes into 2nd place, just displaced Alex Cooper.
Yeah, 3 tenths behind Euler, but it's done the job. 1.5 tenths quicker than Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper, we do believe, has got a 5-place grid penalty as well, so that will play into hands, and yeah, we'll see how that turns out, because Cooper's not had the best of starts all season, and that could really put him in a proper meat sandwich in this 2x2 situation. I do like a 2x2, but maybe not quite sandwich in the middle of the midfield.
Yeah, it's going to be one that's very tough to get out of. I mean, someone was saying, I think it was Wick who pointed out in practice, that apart from the midnight, it's going to be such a tight midfield. I mean, practice, I think 2nd to 8th were separated by about 4, 5, 6 tenths, so we're in for a good one, I think, today. I think that's safe to say.
Absolutely tighter than a virgin is what it's going to be. As who's that moving up the field? That's Matt Clips, just moved into 20th for the Green Stripes, and Vinod Moodley, who I think is making his debut as an actual race driver, certainly this season, for Red Archer, goes into 21. It's good to see our South African driver making his debut here.
Yeah, but we've also got Georges Dadkos in for Halcyon Racing. Obviously, James Shepherd hasn't turned up as of yet. He wasn't in free practice either, so it's odd to see James not here, but Georges takes his place and is currently in 23rd, so he's not exactly last. He's not doing a too bad job there. And he's on the prime, so interesting. It's not a bad job from Georges so far.
Nope. Georges has an illustrious background of plenty of sim racing, as who's that? Ben Warren goes 15th for Woods Racing. So primarily I always see Georges actually out in GT cars, but I know he does do a fair bit of open wheelers on the side. Always a chirpy man out on track, generally always causing himself a bit of mischief while he's out on there as well, so hopefully he can keep his nose clean and pop himself on the map maybe for a future stage drive. But yes, someone go and wake James up, because isn't it a redonkulous time over where he is, the other side of the globe?
Yeah, I think it's 4:30 in the morning. Oh, Dave Coslift has popped up to 5th as well, so Dave's getting the job done on those primes, that's for sure.
Definitely. What would you say? Do you know what the gap would be between the primes and the options?
I haven't tested it myself personally, but I would expect to rule about half a second. Especially around some of these long corners, you got the primes, a bit more grip, get more speed through the corners, and obviously where Dave's going through now, turn 4 is a very important corner. But yeah, Dave's doing a damn good job considering the car he's in as well. He was saying earlier he gets all his upgrades tomorrow, so he's not going to be a happy bunny if he does a lap tomorrow and ends up being a second quicker.
Also impressive Ruud Heasterbeek, because he's 8 tenths of a second ahead of Tom Vandervoort, still 2nd and 4th. That just shows the absolute dominance so far that the Midnight Motorsport duo have potentially over the rest of the field here today. And I've also heard that the Phoenix F1 car has had quite a lot of updates popped on for this time around, so it's good to see Boyd Bryson and Kieran Ryan much closer. The top 21 cars all within 3 seconds, but actually you can go from 4th to 21st, and that's just covered by 1.8 seconds. So that just demonstrates, I think, just how close the field is as we approach the final minute and a half. Need to be coming over the line roughly now if you want to get a final one in. And let's see exactly where the old doodah stops, as Dave Carl-Smith in 5th pops around to start his last pot lap.
Yep, Lucas Euler just set a 16.4, so he has improved by attempts. He's got a nice 0.4 gap over Ruud. Where's Ruud on track? He's just coming into Sector 2 now.
A bit wobbly on the exit. How do you find the curbs around here? Because I found that they bit me back, especially here, because of the anti-cut on the outside.
Yes, these curbs are very, very inviting, but you can't attack some of them as much as you'd like. In turn 9, there's a horrible exit curb, which I think we'll be seeing quite a few people going off onto. We saw it last night to Super Cup, about 4 or 5 cars hit that curb and they went straight onto the tyre wall on the inside and destroyed their car. And then the corner that Root's coming to now, into the final few corners, that outside curb, you can't brake on it either. It's really, really tricky to judge which curves you can and can't use. It's one that's going to be an interesting to see who does what as Root starts his final hot lap now.
Timed that nicely with 10 seconds to go. Sliding around in the second sector. Got to watch out because Peter Kaz has moved up into 4th for Torrent Motorsports off your screens, and Steve Verloy has just gone. Not Steve Verloy. Adam Rouse has gone up into 12th. Mark Stanton to 11th for Constant Racing, so it's good to see Stanton going really high up the order. The flag has dropped. Tom Vandervoort's crossed over the line. He stays in 5th position. Carl Smith's gone into the pit, so he'll be staying in 6th as a maximum. Weeks has already finished as well. Paresis is still out on a hot lap, as is Mark Johnston. And actually, so is David Stanton, still going around doing another one. Stephen De Vries, making his debut, is stuck up behind Georgios Davicus, so it's going to ruin his hot lap. You should really think about your positioning of the car. And they've got to work out, make sure that Alex Cooper, who's behind him, doesn't get caught out because he's on a hot lap, although he's just skidded into the chicane, and that has really ruined his lap potentially as they come filtering out over the line. Paresis stays 7th, so that's the end of it for him. One of the Woods cars coming across the line. Mark Wick stays in 9th. And Ben Warren stays in 15th. In fact, he pops into the pits in the end there. And I think that is everyone spent. See,
yep.
It does.
Alex
got it.
Yep, Alex Cooper just went into the pits, so he abandoned that last lap. So it looks like Luke Soilers managed to nab pole once again. Oh, as I've just seen Mark Stanton popped into 9th place. A good improvement there.
Been a while since we've seen a constant in the top 10, so well done to Mark Stanton. A quick run through down of the order then. Lucas Oil takes pole position with a 1:16.422, ahead of Ruud Heesterbeek by just under a half a second, so real dominance there by Oela. Alex Cooper goes third with a 1:16.996, and there's a big old gap back, bigger than your local Trouts, to Peter Kazza in 4th position. Tom Vandervoort's in 5 for Nijo, pretty outclassed there by Heesterbeek. Carl Smith is 6. Then we've got Jim Paresis, Jordan Weeks, Mark Stanton for Constant in 9, Woods Racing, Mark Wicks in 10, great to see. Bart DeVos 11 for Hawkeye, so a real mixture on the different cars that are out there, followed by Halcyon of Adam Rouse, then a Kerno of Steve Verloy and a Red Archer of David Juntz. That really shows in that little section there so many cars that are very, very competitive side by side. Then you've got Ben Warren for Woods, Stephen De Vries for Hawkeye, Mark Johnston 17 for Kernow, David Stanton 18 for Constant. Top Phoenix was Boyd Bryson in 19, ahead of Vinod Moodley for Red Archer and Kieran Ryan in the second Phoenix, so much better all-round performance from that team. Matt Clip 22 for Green Stripes, really looking like they're a bit left behind now. Georgios Davicus 23rd for Halcyon on debut, Miles Dixon, the top ST guy, in 24th ahead of Morten Vernonsen in 25, and Christoph Lichtenstein rounds off the grid 5 seconds off a pole for Green Stripes and propping up the back of the grid in 26th.
Yep, so 26, we've got a full grid today then, so it's nice to see we've got a full grid. There's only 3.5 seconds between Lucas in 1st and Matt Clip in... No, sorry, George Davos in 23rd, so... Oh, and it's raining in warm-up, we've just been told, so that's a nice little mix for them all to have. I bet we'll see a bit of bitching in the chat in just a second.
So you like a plug-in, but there we go. That's a story probably for another day. Now, we've not had any rain so far this week, have we?
We had some yesterday in Super Cup in Quali, but I think it dried out towards the end. I wasn't here for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But a bit of rain in Super Cup, but I think Formula Challenge is bone dry, so interesting to see how the Super League guys get used to this, especially if it continues into the rain. Oh, into the race.
See, now I'd be out there just getting a quick feel for it before the flag drops, because if you've not really bothered practicing on the rain or had the chance to do the rain on offline testing, then this is really new territory for you, so it pays to have a quick little what am I like. So I'll see how they get on with that. Just a quick look at the championship then before we go into the race. Dave Carr-Smith leads us on 86 points. 16 clear of Lucas Euler on 70, Rudhista Beeks on 65, then a big old gap back to Jim Paresis in 4th. Better Kaza 5 ahead of Alex Cooper 6, with Jason Muscat, Tom Vandervoort, Lewis Redshaw and David Junt rounding out your top 10 there. With the constructors, it's midnight. They are 11 clear of Nord Zone, with Nijo in 3rd on 96, Torrent Motorsport in 4th with 89. Then you've got like the Division 2, which is Red Archer leading that on 55 ahead of Hawkeye. Then you've got Kernel, Halcyon, Green Stripe Racings, all in double figures. But Woods, Constant and Phoenix in 7, 4 and 1 points apiece. And still ST yet to get off the mark. They'll be praying for rain, surely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see that nearly every single team scored a point so far, so it's nice to see that there is a chance of everyone, obviously with more people scoring points this year. It's nice to see that everyone can have the chance to go for points. If there's anything like last night's Super Cup race, everyone who finishes will get points anyway, so it's just a case of whoever finishes, keep it on the road and you will probably get a point.
Any predictions from Mr. Parker Balls?
It's hard to look past the 1-2, isn't it, for midnight? It's got to be Lucas winning, because obviously Alex has got a 5-place penalty, so he's starting 8th. Rather than the 3rd place he qualified, so Lucas will have a nice clean run going out into turn 1, just run away with it like he did last year, if I remember rightly. And then you've got Alex having to get past everyone before he has to go up for 2nd, so Alex really needs to get rid of everyone out of the way as quick as he can if he was to capitalise on his dominant car. As for 3rd place, get back to me.
I will, baby. Any filthy flutters for a top 10 sneaky?
Sneaky top 10. Stanton. I think Mark Stanton's got the car underneath him to get a top 10. Maybe even Rousey's done a good job there in 12th in that house, which is pretty much of a dog of a car. So Rousey and Stanton I'd like to see in the top 10. I think they've got the capabilities to do it.
I know what I'd like to see underneath me, but that's another story again for another day, Mr. Parker.
That is indeed. That's a private conversation we need later
That
on.
is. I need to learn this whisper button. You can keep us entertained whilst we're in the race by sending us a tweet. I'm at Satoramon. What are you, Mr. Parker?
I don't remember. I don't use it enough.
Oh, poor little Tommy doesn't tweet his. Oh well, you can send me a tweet anyway and I'll read it out should anyone feel the dying urge to. I'm at Satoramon. You have got at GPVWC as well, but I don't have the access to get into that because I'm a dirty loose. Just in the warm-up sessions, actually, the Nijo's practicing slipstreaming down the straight with East Beacon Vanderbilt, so obviously they've got an alternative strategy going. And this, if it does rain in the race itself, might slightly ruin some tyre strategies that we saw.
Yes, very much so. I know. I think it's going to be a free-stop race today, and I think there's going to be a lot of primes being used. I think the option's not a very preferred tyre. I know in Super Cup last night a lot of them were using primes twice rather than options twice, so it's a lot of strategies to be played here, but I think it's going to be seeing a lot of primes. I think a free stop is definitely on.
Okay. Well, it's coming down into the final minute before we get going for the raceroo. Of course, if you see what's going on today, you can always sign yourselves up. You pop over to gpvwc.com. Pop yourself in on the action. We've got 3 leagues for you. On the Tuesdays we've got the Formula Challenge, the Wednesdays the Super Cup, and obviously this is a Thursday, so you would be watching the Super League itself. I kid you not, my friends. We also have some dirty old Porsche things and things going on the side, so if you don't fancy open wheelers and you like getting your tin tops out, we've got you covered there as well. Great place for the race, great community. Have a giggle, come join us. Any last words of wisdom before we get going?
I can never do a word of wisdom. I'm a man of simple words.
Ah, we should get you a lookbook.
Oh god, that'd be amazing.
They should do a lookbook movie.
Oh.
That'd be good.
I
I tell you what has rocked my world actually, they're making a Ratchet and Clank movie.
Oh, let's go see it together.
Ah, I'll bring the popcorn. You can bring
Yay.
a drink.
Yay! This ought to be a interesting date.
It would be actually. I might bring my other half along at the same time. That'd just make it even more interesting.
That would. Good lordy.
Lols.
Okay, looks like the drivers are all getting ready to get their race on.
I will do indeed. Do you have any like rituals before you get going into the race?
Personally, no. I'm just a sort of man who just says, yeah, good luck everyone, blah blah blah. And then off we go. Whatever, I don't care. As long as I'm still in the race at the end of it, I'm not too bothered.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now?
Okay, so what have we got? Is it wet? Is it dry?
Blue sky.
We've got blue skies. We have dry track. See Verloy and Mark Johnston both say damn. 66 laps of action. For those that like the statties, we're 75% damage multiplier. Everything is disallowed because it's forbidden, except for auto clutch, which is allowed. And we're a bit racist on the old flags because it's black only.
Nothing like equality.
Tell me about it. Lucas Euler then leads us round on the formation lap for his Simcraft Midnight Motorsports. Alongside him will be Ruud Heastervik for Nijo Racing. Torrent Motorsports, Peter Kaza then moves up to third with the penalties that have gone on, ahead of Dave Carsmith, fourth in the Norge there. Which lucks out quite well there. Jim Parisis, 5 in the second of Torrents, ahead of Jordan Weeks, 6th position. And he'll be looking for a much better end to his Grand Prix than what he did on debut at Hungary last time out. Mark Stanton up to 7 for Constant, will be getting dizzy at those heights. Alex Cooper then will be starting 8 in his second of the Midnights. Mark Wicks up to 9 for Woods Racing. Let's see if he can keep it there. With Tom Vandervoort moved down to 10th with a penalty for Lijo. Bart de Vos is 11 for Hawkeye. Adam Rouse 12 in the top Halcyon. Steve Verloy rounds out the top half of the grid for Kerno Sport.
Yeah, we've got our first Red Archer of the day in 14th, David Junt, and then we've got Ben Warren in second, Woods in 15th. Sven de Vries, whose name I probably just ballsed up completely, in the second, Hawkeyes in 16th. Kernow Sport, Mark Johnston for 17th place, with David Stanton joining him on that row in 18th place. First of the Phoenix is 19th, Boyd Bryson, alongside Vinod Moodley in the Red Archer in 20th place. And then we've got Kieran Ryan in 21st, with Matt Clip in 22nd. George Dafakos and Miles Dix in 23rd and 24th. And then the final row of the grid, we've got Morten Verneson and Christoph Lichtenstein.
Yes. I think it's Sven de Vries, but it's going to end up being Sven of chips or fries
Yes,
or something like
Vries.
that. Yeah, we'll go with that. Sven? I wonder if he's got a moustache that you can tweak. That would be quite awesome. That could be like an activated DRS stopper down the street. As they come out onto the grid, so Peter Kaza also on different tyre compounds as well. So you've got the options for Euler and Heasterbeek. Then you've got primes for Kaza and Carr Smith. And then we're back to options after Parisis. So both Torrents then choosing the same tyre strategy as Carr Smith. So this will be fascinating to see when we get to laps 10, 11, 12 exactly where the pendulum starts to swing. Back after the grid, getting themselves into position. Grab your paellas, we're going to be racing here for Barcelona. The Spanish Grand Prix for GPVWC 2013 is... Go! Off and away, look at Kaza. Kaza's off to a stunning start, and now he's bogged down because he got pulled down. Backwards he goes, and look at the top two well away there. But it's Heasterbeek pulling well clear of Euler before they get down to one. Euler's having a little look, Heasterbeek goes in deep, and he's just about covering it, but Euler stays round the outside. There's minor contact between the two. Carsmith up to third, ahead of Kaza and Parisis. Everyone else filtering through relatively okay. Boyd Bryson has dropped to the very back, but they are all safely through. But it's Euler who retakes the lead after Heasterbeek went deep into one. Then it's Carsmith, Kaza, Parisis, Cooper, Vaught, Weeks, Stanton and Wicks at your top 10. Then the two Red Archers, Moodley off to a stunning start from the rear end of the field to 12th. And Miles Dixon has now dropped to the back of the field. But they're all filtering through quite nicely as they start to get round to the second half of the end of the first lap.
Yeah, but everyone got through nice and cleanly, so no retirement so far, which is very rare to see around Barcelona. So brilliant job from the drivers there as Lucas already started to pull away. Someone's gone wide in turn 9 there. Couldn't see that is. Yep.
Yeah, Mark Wicks is in trouble and he's down to 14th position. Oh, there's a big contact behind Steve de Vries. Smashes into the back of two of the drivers, takes Wicks as well. David Stanton involved. Oh, David Stanton, what a drama for him. Boyd Bryson too, they're just catching the back. And Mark Stanton too, both Constants involved in that. Constantly in bad luck more like, and they're both limping around. Looks like David Stanton has got both wings in, but Bart de Vos, Miles Dixon is out as well, so he appears to have disconnected. So drama all up and down the field. but it's Euler. He's to beat Carl Smith, Kasser, Parisis. Van der Valk's just gone round Alex Cooper for 6th and 7th, and Weeks is down to 8th ahead of Junt and Moodley. Red Archers 9 and 10.
That's a huge shame for Mark Sandler as he pulls into the pits. He was looking so good for a top 10 as well, but he's had a bit of bad luck there. He now pulls into his box. It's a huge shame for Mark there.
There was contact between Christoph Lichtenstein, went and overtook Mark Johnston. Johnston then turned in on him in the middle of the corner and went off, touched gently the outside barrier as Ree got going again in 23rd place, but that car looking a little bit evil on the handling. Stanton into Freestein getting back out with repairs, 24th and 25, but it's Euler and Heesebeek well clear of Carl Smith, and Carl Smith is starting to become a wee bit of a bottle cork because he's got Kasser, Parisis, Van der Vault and Cooper there side by side into the minor hairpin. But they come out in the same order that they went in, and Weeks just catching back onto the end of that. Then you've got the Red Archers, then a big gap back to De Vos, who then leads the second, almost Division B of the category, and Mark Johnston has retired now with suspension failure, 2 out.
Yep, so all that talking of they got through the first lap cleanly went to pot if we got into the hairpin there, but...
Commentator's curse.
Once again, I'm sorry.
Bad Parker, bad Parker. It's free wide down the straight at the back there. Verloy, Lichtenstein and Rouse, 14, 15, 16. It's not often we get to see Lichtenstein in battles with other drivers, but he's really given it some. Verloy's gone round the outside, he's going to squeeze him. Rouse goes round.
Oh, wow, what a move from Rouse.
That is testies out, flinging them round and yee-hawing into turn 1. That was fantastic stuff. Verloy then stays 15. Lichtenstein down to 16. As that looks like Ben Warren trying to have a go at Matt Clip, but missing out for 18 and 19 just in the background. Great move there though, Tom.
That was a stunning move. That took balls of steel. I don't think I've ever seen a move like that. 2 people round the outside of turn 1. That's an absolutely stunning move from there, from Mr. Rousey there.
Rousey with the mousy attack, and he was out for the last couple of rounds, wasn't he? He's not always, I think he has. He's been very quiet. As what's going on up here, that's Parisis and Cooper battling over 6th and 7th. Apparently a bit of contact down into the hairpin, but Cooper stays behind. Not really working out for him. I think he'd be wanting to get a little bit more progression, but very difficult to do around this Barcelona circuit.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously there's a few overtaking spots, but like I said earlier, the dirty air is affecting the drivers quite a lot here, so it's difficult to get a run out onto the straight. As Tom Van der Valk's looking down the inside of Petter Kasser into turn 1, can't make it stick though.
Kasser, of course, on the slower tyres than Van der Valk, but they've expected to last obviously much longer as Van der Valk runs out slightly wide, as does Cooper behind. It is Cooper behind. So starting to struggle, obviously in the dirty air. We were talking about the dirty air upgrades as here comes Van der Valk trying a surprise move down into 5, but that doesn't work out at all. Dirty air upgrade really starting to show actually who's got it and who hasn't, because around these long radius corners, very difficult to stay behind as Georgios Davicus is out in 22nd position. He's spun round and has lost several positions in that move.
Oh, it's been a huge crash at turn 9. Let's see who's... Oh, hey, Cooper's off. Yep, it's Cooper. He's had an accident into turn 9 by the looks of it. We'll just see what happened. He's just hit that curb, outside curb, and did what Pestovs and Sindre last night did. Just absolutely smashed the inside wheel. He's actually kept all of his car though, so how on earth he's done that? That's astonishing.
Yeah, he's lost his front wing, but God knows, I agree. God knows how he's got wheels on the thing, and that will be an absolute sod to drive for the rest as he's just struggling around the chicane. He's got to let Clip and Warren through. There he goes, bypasses into the pits. But that is not going to help the midnight 1-2. Suddenly there's an extra spot on the podium for everyone to go nuts for.
And it looks like Carl Smith is in prime position to take third as Ruben Heesterbeek and Lucas Oil have run off up the road. Look, they're 6 seconds ahead of Carl Smith, so it's a case of can Carl Smith keep that third place. But we're now Tom Van der Vault now being set free, as it were. He's going to have to be looking in his mirrors a little bit more in the next few laps.
Yeah, 8 tenths of a second slower in the qualifying session. Needs to make sure that he can kind of keep a little bit closer to his teammate because they are romping it away up front. Carl Smith still providing a mini bottleneck for everyone behind, but the Tyrrell Motorsports of Kasser and Parisis will follow, as they have done almost nose to tail all season anyway. Jordan Weeks now up to 7, but he's got company in David Junt, who's sticking with him in 8. They're dropping Vinod Moodley, who is now becoming a bottle cork for Bart de Vos in 10. That's a little scrap, and Wicks in 11, and DeVos is having a little look left, right and centre, and Moodley actually, his car's starting to look like it's struggling.
Yeah, he's getting a bit twitchy out of the corners, but DeVos run each way, trying to get around him. Look, if he gets a good exit out into the corner, he's got a great opportunity to go into turn 1, but look at Wixie, he's got a brilliant run out of the chicane, he's going to have a brilliant run going into turn 1, look, going to have the double slipstream. Can he do what Rousey did just a lap ago?
He's going to do a boxeroo, I think. Oh no, he can't. Yeah, he goes second tug of the toe. He'll box DeVos in and have him down into one. Oh, just about. DeVos leaving it very late on the a bit of love nudge on the exit, but Wicks has got it up into 10th then, for the time being, although DeVos doesn't look like he's finished yet as he tries to get a second nibble on the slipstream, trying to switcheroo. No, stay clear of the rear. Generally an advice that is heeded by most of the drivers in GPVWC, but yeah, Moodley, that car looking a wee bit evil, and Wixie straight away onto the back, and I think DeVos could just wait for Wicks to try a pouncing move. That'll be...
Yeah, he needs to be a bit patient. Oh yeah, look at that, he's got a bit of a struggling into turn 9, he's got onto the bump there, and he's has to watch his mirrors now rather than look ahead of Moodley, but Bart was a bit too far back. Very sensible there from Bart, could have just took the dive bomb, but decided not against it. Very sensible driving there.
Yep, we doff our cap to you, and if they just don't nibble at each other, they can get ready for having a prime go at Vinod down into the first turn. Everyone else very much as you were, as Paresis has lost a few temps to Casa in 5 and 6, but as they come out into the final corner, Moodley doing a very good job for the Red Archer team, but Wicks is straight onto the back. You can see him being sucked right up into the slipstream. He's going to wait for the right time to pull out and have a move straight away alongside, later on the brakes as well. More confidence in the tyres and in his ability, and Moodley, don't get everyone else into a mood. Not problems at all, but he had so much speed around turn 3 there, he almost got back onto the end of Wicks, so strangely there, wrong footed, and that won't help him at all.
Oh, but will he make a tap into... Oh, nobody lets him pass, so Bart was good move there, opportunity to move. Moodley struggling out of turn 4, and he's just taking it off him, so good move there, Bart.
Don't let him into Mr. Candy's sweet shop, because he'll have it all up to 10th. Next up on his list will be to see if he can, to see exactly where he and Mark Wicks can go. DeVos, very quiet in the qualifying session. We normally see him in and around the top 10, but he was nowhere near it. He's now there in 10th position as he pulls away from Moodley, and Moodley starting to already fall into the clutches of Adam Rouse, Steve Verloy, Kieran Ryan in 14th for Phoenix F1, looking like he could very well add to their singular point. And then Clip and Warren are 15 and 16 battling over the final point, and Liechtenstein is starting to bottleneck Bryson and Stanton up as well. So little collections of cars going on around the track as the people who seem to get away with all of the drama around the end of the first lap start to be reeled in again.
Yeah, it was Tom Vanderbilt's gone to the back of Carl Smith, and he's not going to make a move into there, sonny boy. But yeah, Carl Smith and Tom onto the battle for third place. Tom obviously on the options, Dave on the prime, so Tom's going to have to grip advantage as he goes around the corners. He's right on the back of him and can't find a way past around here though. He's very brave to attack. Oh, he's going to try it though. Oh, I think Tom's getting a little bit impatient here. I think he needs to calm it down a little bit and wait for the prime time to...
He's having a... he was doing that move, wasn't he, with Cooper when he was battling, or whoever it was before. So he tried to stick it down there earlier and it didn't work. So careful, once bitten, twice shy. What's your view when you're kind of doing those, it's not a real overtaking move, but I'll pop out and have half a lunge anyway, as that's a change of position. Boyd Bryson's just gone up into 17th past Liechtenstein on the exit of turn 5.
Nice move there. Yep, and Ben Warren's managed to get into 15th past Matt Clip, so both Woods now in the points, which is good to see, especially seeing as I'm generally with them. But yeah, going back to your question, It does like scare the crap out of drivers if you end up like, oh, what's that?
Sorry, that was David Stanton slightly love nudging Christoph Liechtenstein out the way.
Oh, Tom Vandervoort, massive wiggle into turn 3, absolutely mad skills to try and save that, but he touched the inside curb, and if you do that in these Super League cars, it just wiggles about, and how he managed to save that, I will never know. Impressive stuff from Tom Vandervoort to keep it on the road. That was that was interesting to see. I think his tyres might be going a little bit off. It's only 8 laps into the race, so I can't imagine it would be, but yeah, it's ruined any sort of chance he would have had getting latching onto the back of Carl Smith through these 3 corners. But yeah, going back to your question, it does scare the crap out of drivers if you end up pushing. I did it to Jason in Melbourne this year. I mean, I was about 5 or 6 car lengths back, and he ended up braking about 100 minutes before he thought he would. I ended up overtaking him, and I don't think he was very happy afterwards, but I was quite happy with that. But it's a case of it does unsettle the driver in front if you just pull out and they see you pulling up. Oh crap, they're going to make a move, aren't they? And then they might brake a little bit late, and you might end up getting a pass. So it's a case of judging it as well as you can. I mean, I'm not one for dive bombs usually. So
on my feet. I prefer a Jaeger bomb myself, but as they work themselves round, there's been a change. Alex Cooper, just for interest, is 1 minute 5 off the pace in 23rd position. Morten Verlinson has just taken 19th from Christoph Lichtenstein, so he's slowly going back down the field in the Green Stripes Racing Team car. Here's Tom again, yeah. Different lines.
Yeah, Carl Smith's doing an absolutely brilliant job defending. As Tom Vandervoort's going to go up the inside here. Is he going to make a stick this time? Yep. Oh, he can't do it. Dave Carl Smith's got the racing line. Sweeps round the outside of Tom there, so nice move there from Dave. But obviously Tom's going to have a much better grip. He can't look at yeah, he's just affecting him. Oh, he's gone to that bump nicely. Yeah, scared the crap out of me as well. So Tom just can't seem to get the run going out of his corners onto Dave. If he could do it, he probably could actually overtake it. He just can't get the run out of his fast corners. I mean, we were looking earlier. Nijo's got quite a good top speed. I remember Dave was quite worried because Rude or Tom was getting 200 miles an hour, and Dave was like, "How the hell are they doing it?" And then it's just, I don't think they're as quick as they were now. But Tom just can't seem to get that last little tenth just to try and take Dave at the end of the corner. He just can't seem to do it. As he's got, look at that top speed, he just really drags him in.
Well, that must really affect him because you get the top speed. I know the cars are all slightly different, but you get that top speed by sacrificing corner grip. And he's on the grippier tyres, and he's not being able to use that advantage at all because he's being constantly marginalised by the fact that Carl Smith is on the lower tyres.
Yeah, it's a shame for Tom because he can't just. He's got these tyres to try and use, and he keeps trying to. I don't know why he keeps trying into there because you're never going to get the pass done because you just. I think he just needs to take a bit more patience. Obviously, like in Hungary, he wasn't ballsy enough, and now he's being a bit too ballsy for his own liking.
I will never judge a ball by its cover as Adam Rouse goes round Vinod Moodley for 11th position out of the exit again of turn 5. So Moodley down another one, but still doing well in 12th and still in the points, which ain't bad going at all. In fact, there's only half a stab back at Adam Rouse down into turn 9. That's not going to work. No, backed out of that one, thankfully. So he's to beat 3 seconds now behind Euler. This is the battle for third, still with Carl Smith and Tom Vandervoort, and you can see Dave Carl Smith feeling the need to go so defensive. Goes to retake his line. He's going to be unsettled slightly if he can't get it on the apexes all the way round. Somehow manages to do that beautiful art of managing to just get your backside in the middle of every single thing. But here could be the one. Down the inside goes Tom. Carl Smith able to run right the way around the outside. Vandervoort just slightly slidey on the middle apex point of the corner and just unable to do anything about it. But we're on lap 12 of 66. If Tom's going to be 3 stopping very shortly, here he goes again for it. Oh, dearie me. At some point that front wing will go if he's not careful.
I was just thinking the same thing. He's not picking his spots very well. Obviously, turn 4 was a brilliant opportunity, but Dave just managed to get a drive out of the corner. So Dave Carl Smith doing a damn impressive job once again of defending as Tom Vandervoort goes a little bit wide out of hairpin there, but nothing too serious. And we've got the Torrents now catching this little train up, so Tom's going to have to start looking in his mirrors soon because Peter Casser's only a second behind him.
Absolutely, and then that becomes a real game of cat and mouse because you don't want to make stabbing moves because you don't have the option of falling so far behind because you're then going to be penalised by someone capitalising on your mistake. So then becomes even more tactical as Carl Smith doesn't even let him vaguely close, he just immediately goes into the middle. Oh no, yeah, Tom backs wisely out of that. There was only 2 ways that trajectory was going to go, and it would have been under or into Carl Smith, so thankfully that gets sorted out. Again, a great run, but a little bit too far behind. Don't do it here. Have half a look maybe into the next corner, but Carl Smith not having to look completely in his mirrors will be slightly faster than what he was the previous lap around. But lap 13 now, and if we're 3 stopping, Tom Vandervoort is going to be losing essentially one of his fast tyre sets behind some of the slower tyre set as Casa then taps the inside anti-cut, does well not to bin it.
Yeah, obviously I don't know what people are thinking in terms of strategy, but these options seem to be lasting not too bad, I don't think, at the moment. Obviously you had a quite faster tyre, but it depends on, like I said, 3 stops should be in soon, so it'll be interesting to see if Petter's right on the back of Tom now, look. Going into the chicane now, Petter's really got the pace advantage, it seems, at the moment, at least 4 drivers actually on the primes as well. So, and Tom goes in, yep, so Tom's now in the pits.
I was going to say, Christoph Lichtenstein's already made a stop and has rejoined in last. Parisis is on the back of Casa, and they're side by side going down the straight. See how that one ends up for a TMO drama down into turn 1. Cameraman extraordinaire Simon Maluish closes his eyes, side by side. Casa holds on round the outside. Parisis gives him plenty of room, good driving by those two as Vandervoort continues to go down. He's just leaving the pits now, again side by side into turn 3, and Casa keeps it. Parisis stays there. There's some more drama. Jordan Weeks is in the pits and leaving for Nord Zone. Vandervoort has rejoined in 9th position. Jordan Weeks rejoins in 12th.
Yep, we've got Rouse and Ryan in the pits as well, so down to 17th for Adam, and Kieran's currently in 18th, but I can't imagine he'll be past though. So looks like the first round of pit stops are starting. We've still got quite a few people out there on the options. We've still got Lucas and Rude. As Rude actually made some inroads on Lucas's lead there, look. He's only 2.5 behind. But Lucas is in, so Rude goes on for another lap.
Christoph Lichtenstein has binned it on lap 13 and he's retired from the race. Steve Verlooy's gone round Vinod Moodley for what is 10th position currently at the moment as Ruud Heasterbeek takes the lead for Nizo. Euler, nice and simple stop for him, and he's going to rejoin just behind the Torrent Motorsports, so he's going to fit himself into a nice little gaggle of cars potentially, as again the Torrent Motorsports having a little play with each other, but Paris is nowhere near close enough to have a go down into one. Euler rejoins about 5 seconds behind them maximum, so he's got time to get those tyres up to temperature. He's on the same tyres that they are on, so he's going from one set to another. And yeah, Carl Smith fastest lap by all accounts.
I don't know what he does. I don't know how he does it. He's in the 8th worst car and on primes and he's doing that. It's just amazing, isn't it? Really? I don't know how Dave does it.
You'll just have to resort to jealousy tactics as Matt Clip pops in for Green Stripe Racing from what was 16th position. Adam Rouse already goes through. Rousey's already been in. Rousey with the mousey. Where Bryson's still running in 14th position in the points. Verlooy up to 9, and that is because David Junt has been into the pits and has rejoined in 11th. Ahead of Jordan Weeks, so that's actually a swap in strategy because Weeks came in a lap before him and Junt's jumped him.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting though. So I think Jordan had quite a big lead on David as well, so I don't really know how that's worked out.
Couple of seconds. Carl Smith's in.
Yep, so Carl Smith from 2nd place.
TMOs keep on going. Like, do you remember that Ariston advert? And on, Ariston. So, Carl Smith is going in and out, still in 5th position. Wicks is in as well from what was 6th. DeVos stays out for Hawkeye and will take 5th position for the time being. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how these strategies all play out, because I think some people are planning to go quite longer, and I wonder if maybe because the tyres are going slightly longer than what we imagined, couple of old 2 stoppers going on, and Tom Vandervoort's out ahead of Dave Carr Smith.
Wow, so change position there between the two. I've just noticed actually, Dave Carr Smith was also on start on the primes, but Ruud Heasterbeek on the options actually managed to go longer than him, so whether that Norton's absolutely destroying their tyres, I don't really know, but it's quite surprised to see that Dave's felt the need to come in earlier than someone who's actually on the options.
He's rejoined again on another set of primes. Tom Vandervoort is on the options again, so he's obviously thought, screw it, I'll stick another wonderful set of the rubbery ones on and have a go as Heasterbeek pops in from the lead. Carl Smith is obviously feeling, maybe, brightly, that the tyres are causing an issue for him and he needs to stay out on the slower ones to be competitive with them, maybe.
Well, you say slow ones, he still managed to get fastest lap, so...
Slower by comparison, we're not
Yeah.
the alien variety as Heasterbeek rejoins in what is 4th position.
Not far behind Lucas.
I think he's net gained. Do you think?
Obviously, yeah, well, he has been out on the lower fuel and the faster tyres, obviously, for a few laps, so he would have maybe gained a bit of time, but I think the status quo really sort of like 2.5, 3 seconds, but we could have a race on our hands here, really, actually.
It's going to be for the next stop, actually, I think, because Euler's still on the primes. He's gone for the options, and so in theory, he's now on the primed and tickled variety. Let's go and have a good old shindig down in the rear end of Mr. Euler himself. So it's a TMO 1-2. We'll see how they keep going as cameraman extraordinaire Simon Mouche does a little mini cartwheel in the background. I hope your pixels haven't all spun round. I've just noticed the skid marks of Christian Liechtenstein's crash, so he caught the outside curb by the looks of it. Great battle going on 17, 18, 19, 20. It's Alex Cooper trying to get up the field. He's just done Georgios Davakis. He's now having a look at Morten Vernonson, and he dives through quite nicely and takes 17th position away from Morten. But ST barely seen them racing anyone all season, so it's good to see Morten being able to be battling away with people, and Georgios Davakis now fancying a look as well. Might be for the lower end, but when these things all sort themselves out, there's a retirement or two. These guys could be picking up the final point. And Davakis, is he through? No, he's to the outside. He's going to go around the outside. Whoa.
You also got Ben Warren there as well, look, trying to get in on the action for Woods.
Yeah, Warren's been into the pits, and I don't think Davakis and Vernonson has. So he's trying to get round people who he's not necessarily directly racing with, and that always makes it tricky. Yeah, Davakis, I wondered where he'd gone. Oh, dear me.
You spin me right round, baby, right round.
Indeedums. So I went up that escape road. Do like a dirt track every now and then, but that is not the fastest way to do it, unfortunately. And Georgios back going in 23rd position, lapped and last. Sven de Vries has gone through, so all a learning curve there on debut.
Yeah, we've got Tom and David catching Bart de Vos 5th, 6th and 7th. Bart actually not been in the pit yet. Still on those options, so Bart's making his options last really well. Gone 17 laps on them, well, most people felt he'd come in on lap 13, so obviously look at him though, he's struggling a hell of a lot, and Tom and Dave are right on the back of him. If Tom doesn't get past him quickly, this could really hurt his advantage for the tyres and pace in terms of Dave's Bart pulls up into the pits. That's really helped Dave actually, so Dave could actually maybe not get a run on him, but definitely a lot closer than he was.
Yeah, advantage. Mr. Gar Smith, as Boyd Bryson has pitted and rejoined in 20th for Phoenix, which pops his teammate Kieran Ryan up into 15th, although Alex Cooper is right on his tail, and I don't think that will last for long. As well, Bart de Vos, yeah, still trundling down the pits. He's going to rejoin in 11th because Mark Wicks has gone through, and he's cleared just about of Adam Rouse, so net gain in time for Bart de Vos, if not position.
Yep, so good job there from Bart, managed to make those tyres last a hell of a long time. Into the primes, I don't know, back on this set of options, so we still have at least another stop to make. Bow front looking still a Torrent 1-2, they're making them tyres last very well.
Absolutely, I wonder if they've been able to invest some upgrades on some softly catchy monkey as they're just coming round to lap Boyd Bryson, who's in 20th position. David Stanton's not too far ahead. He's battling with Matt Clipp for 18th and 19th as Parisis is the first of the TMO drivers in. Euler moves immediately up to second. He's to peak to third. And let's see where Jim comes out in respect to Van der Vault and Carl Smith, because remember he was quite close behind. Oh, Davakis is off in turn one. That is a big shove. No front wheels on his car. Let's have a wee look.
His front wheels are in the air for me. Just hanging there, it's brilliant. 22nd.
In 22nd when it happened, but yeah, it's like the car didn't actually stop and just went speeding off into turn one. So I wonder if he had some kind of minimising or screen freeze, because it didn't even remotely attempt the corner. So one way to make an impact on debut, Georgios. And I said he normally gets into trouble. And Boyd Bryson's off as well in 20th position. Again, another car. He was on the grass on the way into turn 9. So God knows what happened there for Boyd, but he won't be staying in his position much longer.
Well, so we're getting to that point where there seems to be getting a few mistakes being made, so just a case of trying to keep the concentration up as Jim's come out behind Dave, so he's about 8 seconds behind Dave and about 2.5 ahead of Verloy. He hasn't actually come in yet, so there's Kernel, boys. And, well, I know Mark Johnson's retired, but Kernel seems to be playing the long game here. I know Scott Bennett was talking about the possibility of a 2-stop, so interesting to hear. We've just been told by a cameraman extraordinaire that Pettis actually changed his strategy.
So, he's not playing the team order games. Mr. Mellowish is saying he was supposed to have been in this lap, and he's obviously decided, nah, I'm good, thanks. Maybe the tyres are feeling better than what he thought they would. Net gain, though, they were right behind going on as Verloy is in this lap, and he's already dropped down to 9th, which has let Junt up to 7, Weeks to 8. Weeks to 8 and Wicks to 9. That's what was confusing me, Weeks and Wicks. And it looks as though Bart de Vos is going to keep 10th, and Verloy is going to come out side by side with Adam Rouse. Rouse was ahead before the pit stops, and he keeps the position. Verloy rejoins right behind in 12th.
But on to another set of primes. Interesting. I wonder if they'll be trying to make a 2-stop work. That'd be impressive, to say the least. The Pettis does now come in as... Oh, I think he got a little bit held up by Kieran Ryan there, who had a spin on the exit of the chicane. Let's have a look.
Mark Stanton in 2. Casa, let's see what he does as Euler takes over the lead again, that he has not held since his pit stop. Got a absolute cluster of traffic to deal with in the form of Matt Clip, Clear, Ryan and Ben Warren as they battle over the final points paying position. Easterbeek stays second. Vandervoort moves up into third. He's nearly had a misunderstanding with Boyd Bryson. Tom Vandervoort has a go at trying to lap him. Boyd Bryson moves out of the way and they nearly collect each other. But Casa out well clear from Paresis. I don't know what happened to Jim Paresis, but he must have lost time on an in-lap or an out-lap with a mistake or something like that, because that gap between them was certainly not that big before the stops.
Yeah, it seems maybe Jim's had a bit of a sloppy out-lap maybe, so...
Sloppy seconds.
Indeed. And he's now a good 4 or 6 seconds behind Pettis now, so that's lost quite a lot of time. And both the Torrance, remember, were right behind this Tom and Dave battle, so they both lost a bit of time, really. As Weeks is getting into the battle for 7th with Junt. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No. I was trying to mask the fact that I was blowing my nose. And when I blew my nose, I accidentally pressed the microphone. So apologies if everyone got my snotty sigh out on the camera. What I was going to say though was we saw a little cluster of mistakes that go on. Do you ever find as a driver that you get into a pattern where you are either so focused or your mind starts to wander? Do you have specific times in the race where you just kind of lapse out and go, ugh?
It's a lot easier to do that when you're on your own. I mean, it is very dull if you're on your own pounding around for 66 laps. I mean, I know myself, it is very boring and it is very easy to lose concentration. You've got to be on the top of your game for all of those 66 laps. It is hard to keep concentration, but when you're in battle, obviously, you've got a lot more to think about. So I think it's a lot better if you're within maybe 2 or 3 seconds of someone, so you've got something to aim for, rather than being 5 seconds in front, 5 seconds back, nothing to do. What am I doing here? No point. But if you're in a battle, it is a lot easier to keep concentrating. I mean, obviously, if you're tired, I mean, people like James and Will Tringas, they live in bloody Australia, so how they can race is astonishing, really. But
matchsticks in the eyes.
Yeah, like Mr. Bean. But it is very hard to keep concentration for an hour and a half. I find it personally, I'm one of the ones who don't keep concentration. That's why I make a few mistakes. But it's each and every driver to their own. Some people are good, some people are bad at keeping concentration. It's just something you can't really train yourself in. Just one of those things.
Character trait, I suppose, as Weeks continues to reel in Junt. Quite glad that I've heard that you don't like to pound around on your own. So I shall definitely look forward to keeping you company on a pounding session.
I look forward to it very much.
Wow. I'll get my Google Calendar out. Junt continuing to be reeled in by Weeks, actually. Managed to make it work in the pit stops. Try to see, actually. Don't mind me. My timing screens had gone wrong. It said that Boyd Bryson was in third. You know when you just think, hang on, ulterior world, what's going on? So yeah, back to normal, don't mind me.
Yeah, I think Verloy is catching Adam Rouse for 11th place. Verloy just had his pit stop, obviously, and on the fresher tyres. Catching Rouse for 11th place. So we could see a battle for 11th very soon. Obviously, Junt and Weeks will be very in close vicinity very soon. I think Wicks is catching them as well, about 4 seconds back. So that could be a 3-car fight for 7th place in the not long future.
It's interesting because Junt's actually on the option tyres, Weeks is on the primes. Oh,
And
Weeks
he's
is
gone
off!
That stopped that fight, and Wicks is right behind him. So maybe if Wicks can capitalise on that, he's on the options compared to Jordan's prime. So maybe Wicks can have the opportunity to get into 8th. So what's still happened to Jordan there? Then if it looks like he got, he just breaks.
Oh, he's round
too
again.
late.
Oh, dearie me. May have been clipped there slightly by Wicks. We're not sure. The camera angle's a bit awkward into there for moi. But yeah, Weeks struggling to maybe get the heat back into the tyres and be confident down into the braking zone and just leaving himself a bit exposed. But yeah, he's not looking confident. The car's looking angular and even twitching down the straight a little bit there. So problems potentially again for the second week end outing out in a row for Jordan Weeks from Nordzone, who impressed on debut in Hungary, then decided to splatter his engine all over the track.
Not the best way to go for your debut. He did do a good job though, yes. He was running 6th for most of the race, so he was doing good. He is doing a good job considering the car he's got, so hats off to the Norwegian boys. They are doing a bloody good job, as Dave Cosmith's actually going to be pressure from Petter soon.
A bloody good job!
By George, boys!
Ah, smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for brekkie.
Oh my god, I just choked.
On what? I've not put anything near you yet.
It was Coke, and if I said Coke wrong, it could have gone very wrong.
Ah, do you know what? I'm going to freeze frame that memory. Easily pleased, moi. So yes, Carl Smith indeed being slightly reeled in by Casa. Tom Vandervoort now 6 seconds clear already from Carl Smith, so that's certainly working with having his new, his faster tyre, and you can see that he was being held up most definitely. Verloy is certainly closing down Rouse. That's the closest one out on track currently at the moment, because Alex Cooper has been in for a pit stop and rejoined in 19th and is closing on Mark Stanton. So Alex Cooper's got it all to do again. So not quite sure why, because I thought he'd already done half those guys, so I don't know if he's been in problems or he's just made a very early second stop.
He did have a very long lap. I think a normal pit stop lap is about 1:38, 1:39. He did a 1:41, so I think he may have made a slight mistake maybe on his in lap. So it's all going wrong for Alex Cooper today. He's only in 19s as well, whilst his teammate I think is doing 17s out of the front. So he's definitely lost a lot of pace with that early incident.
He did proper clout the wall though, didn't he?
He did indeed. It wasn't as bad yesterday when Sindre Grimseth went out, did that, and his car splattered all over the damn track. It was hilarious.
Aww.
Not for him, obviously, but it was quite funny for us who were watching.
No. Whereas I was quite annoyed when I retired from FC. I'd not had a retirement in a sim race for almost 3 years, because Mr. Consistent, obviously, if you're not racing anyone when you're last, you can kind of keep going. As Tom Vandervoort's in the pits from what was 3rd, he's already down to 5th. But yeah, I had a relatively minor hit into the wall in turn 4 and my car was on fire, so I had no idea what had happened there, but never mind. Vandervoort out in 6th position, Paresis has gone through, and Junt's they're going to meet side by side down into 1 potentially. Nope, Vandervoort decisively chops across and says, I'll have that, thank you very much. Now what tyres has he got onto is another set of the options, so he's planning to leave the primes till last and try and get track position.
Yeah, so it looks like the free stoppers are coming into fruition. I was very surprised he hasn't gone to the primes yet. I thought obviously he's going to be battling Dave at the end of the race by the looks of things, so I was surprised he hasn't got the primes out of the way and gone to the options late on in the race. So interesting strategy move there from Tom.
And he's a bit in no man's land as well, because where Heasterbeek and Euler have had such an advantage, he's got a bit too much of a gap to gain back, hasn't he? So he will just be trying to consolidate and stay ahead for the 3rd podium position. Obviously, all being well for our leading duo. Oh, as Mark Stanton's in trouble in 20th, going very slowly. He's had an off somewhere. Oh, battling with Alex Cooper. Just spins round on a 360 trying to get back at him as Alex Cooper made his way round. But that lost him out to Boyd Bryson. And poor old Stanton's was looking so good, wasn't it? And it's all gone to pot.
Yeah, obviously Mark had a few issues on the first lap after doing such a brilliant job in qualifying in 9th place and ended up starting 7th, so a huge shame for Stanton's. Obviously they're both lovely guys, so
David
very
Stanton,
big
though, is-
shame.
Yeah, it is. But David Stanton, all over the back of Kieran Ryan for 15 and 16. They were side by side into turn 4. Kieran Ryan just about held it on.
Yep, there's a nice little battle going on for the final point position, so there is something at stake apart from pride, so David looking like a faster car at the moment. I think Constant is a better car than Phoenix, so Kieran's got the work to do, and he's on the primes compared to David's options, so...
Got to be careful with Matt Clip, because Clipper Balls is coming onto the back for Green Stripes Racing, and David Stanton just taking a little pokey nose out to say, I'm here, don't you worry, I will have you one way or another. Oh, Ryan, so dodgy on the middle part of that chicane. I hate that chicane so much. Why did they bastard?
Oh, Stanton's round!
No, it's all Damon Hill 1996. As he's got a spin. Oh, he's done well to spin turn it that way and not clout the wall. So he's back going again as through goes Alex Cooper up into 17th. There's Boyd Bryson coming into the final corner now, so he'll be okay in 18th. But oh, dearie me, if you are a Stanton, then you are going to be absolutely screwed. It seems.
Look at that. Oh, I thought he was going to take pair and pair. Look at that. Pair's had to avoid it completely. He's right on the back of Carl Smith as well, so.
Buckaroo.
Oh, there must be something wrong with that car. Serious handling problems. Maybe he's got a puncture, so I think he wouldn't surprise me actually. He did clout that wall with the rear tyre quite hard, so could be a puncture for Mr. Stanton, I'm afraid.
Oh dear, as David Junt's been in, and he's rejoining Rouse and Verloy just coming down the straight. Can he beat them out? Because that's imperative to make sure that he stays ahead of Jordan Weeks. No. He's going to end up in the middle of it all. That's not where he wanted. Rouse goes through. He's going to have to defend heavily from Verloy because he's on the wrong tyres. Well, compared to Junt anyway. He keeps the position. But David, that's the worst case scenario for him. He didn't want to come out in a battle. He wanted to leapfrog those to ensure that he stays ahead of Jordan Weeks instead of losing time battling against people that he's not racing.
Yeah, well, obviously Wicks is there as well in that little strategic battle as well. So David Junt's got all to do. It's Verloy's gone round the outside of turn 5. Stunning move there from Verloy.
Well, he's been at it, hasn't he? That's been his chosen move, hasn't it? Because wasn't it Verloy that done it round the outside earlier on?
It was indeed. So Verloy having a stunning race so far for Kernal. So he's done the one stop yet, and he's on the primes again. So, his Junt's pulled out, but it's a bit of a dramatic move there, but doesn't make anything of it. Oi,
Sava Verloy, as he whacks his meat on the table and says, take that everyone. Round the outside into turn 5, his trusty move, signature move almost, doing a Verloy. Next up for him is the Rousey Mousey, but unfortunately for Verloy, they've been nigh on identical pace-wise for this entire stint, because they kind of came together, and then Verloy's always been within this like 7/10 window and not been able to do anything about it.
Maybe he's just biding his time for the pit stops. I mean, obviously he's on the option. I mean, on the prime, sorry, and Adam's on the option. So it might just be a case of waiting for Adam to pit and then getting his swag on as soon as he gets into the pits and getting on with it. I've been wanting to say that all race. I finally found the opportunity.
Oh, well, I'm glad you got the chance to stick one in.
Oh, so I didn't think he was going to stick it in. But, you know, Verloy, I thought he was going to go on the outside to turn 5 again. But things better of it this time. As Junt is staying with them now. So Junt's going to have to get those tyres up to temperature. Down in the battle for 10th and 12th. But the Voss not too far up the road either, so...
Yeah, they're all kind of concertinaing and wheeling in. They've got Morton Vernonson that they're coming around to lap this trio, so they'll have to deal with that as an added problem. Mark Wicks
comes in.
Yeah, into the pits from 7th position. Weeks continues on. There was a second between them, so we'll see how that all pans out. But Wicks is going to rejoin behind this little scraggle battle, so it looks as though David Junt is going to be fine for now. Verloy continues to shadow hunt Adam Rouse as they go down to turn 1. So, lap 32, Lucas Oil is just starting off, and he leads by 6 seconds from Ruud Hiesterbeek. Benicio. Third is Dave Carr-Smith in the Nord zone. He's still holding off Petter Kassa. Kassa is reeling him in though for the battle as part of the third and final spot on the podium. Fourth is Petter Kassa, obviously. Jim Paresis is 5th for Turret Motorsport, ahead of Tom Vandervoort 6th, and he's reeling everyone in quite quickly. He's had done one stop more than the other guys, but he seems to be going for the big old tyre strategy of sticking on as many sets as you can and going nuts. 7th is Jordan Weeks, yet to stop. Bart de Vos is 8th, he's yet to stop for a second time too for Hawkeye. Adam Rouse is 9 and Steve Verloy 10, and that's David Junt going down Verloy. Oh, he's got in a wee bit deep. Verloy's going to go for the switcheroo. Vernonson gets out of the way beautifully there, and they're all about to be lapped by Lucas Euler. So poor old David Junt, that wasn't his best stunt unfortunately, but he's going to have plenty of time for another attack, depending on how people want to play it with their strategies. Verloy does indeed stay out. Obviously he was one of, if not the last person to pit last lap round, or last time around, as Euler is in from the lead on lap 32. Quickly finishing off the order, Jordan Weeks has just been into the pits and rejoined in 11th behind that little battle. So Mark Wicks is in 12th. Is Jordan Weeks going to beat Mark Wicks?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, he is. He's well through. Weeks stays in 12th. Vinod Moodley's in 13th, Kieran Ryan is in 14th for Phoenix F1, Alex Cooper now in 15th and in a points paying position for Midnight. Ben Warren is 16th for Woods Racing, ahead of Boyd Bryson 17th for Phoenix. Mark Stanton is 18th for Constant, Matt Clip 19th for Green Stripes. Stephen DeVries is 20th for Hawkeye, David Stanton 21st for Constant Racing, and he's directly ahead of Morton Vernonson, who's in 22nd for ST, and they are all just a singular lap down. So still relatively close action out on track.
Yep, both the leaders have just come in, Lucas and Rude. So Rude onto the prime tyres for this stint, and Lucas has gone onto the primes as well. So once again, status quo with the tyres. Petter Casa on the back of Dave, third place. Obviously Tom Vandervoort has made an extra stop, and not as fast as I was expecting him to be, so it could be a nice three-way battle here for third.
Tom's ran into trouble. He was closer than that. I'm sure he was. Oh no, sorry, it was my weird timing screen again going a bit wrong. He's obviously been in. He's 12 seconds now behind Carl Smith. He took a second out that lap, as there's another change of position. It's Andy
Rousey's in the
into
pits.
Yeah. Ooh, jinx.
Oh, Patrick.
Oh, teaming. There you go.
Oh, I miss him.
Oh, strokes for teaming. So yes. Where were we? I was just caught up in a bubble.
Tom being 12 seconds behind.
Ah, yes. So he's eating into the gap quite nicely. But it just depends on what the Torrents are going to do. They went very long last time. I expect them to go long again this time, as Casa, that's the closest he's been to Carl Smith all race in this, well, all stint to be fair. Be interesting to see if Casa's going to actually have a go out on track, or if he's just going to try and play the long game in the pit stops or not. So those two, plenty of respect for each other out on track. But the more that this battle goes on, the more this plays into the hands of Tom Vandervoort, who's running in clear air.
Indeed, that is the case, 100%. And yeah, obviously we saw Dave coming very early. Dave came in very early last time round, so Petter might just be waiting for the pit stop. Yeah, he might just be waiting for Dave to come in and get on with it, as Dave is in the pits on the heavy fuel, and maybe even the options or the primes, I'm not really sure yet. So it was only, Tom's made a second on the duo in the last lap, and then Rude's actually 10 seconds behind Lucas, so he's had a bit of an iffy pit stop, so Rude's lost about 5 seconds in that pit stop there, which is a huge shame, because he was only 5 seconds behind. So looks like Lucas Euler, commentator's curse pending. Sorry Lucas if I do bin you, but it looks like he's got this nicely done for now.
Oh dear. Well, you see, as a commentator, you're kind of damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Maybe commentators should just be silent, and then therefore they can't curse anyone.
We should act it out.
We could do. What's the Muppet that just goes?
God knows, David Junt goes up the inside of Steve Verloy for 8th and 9th. Nice move there from David, just getting it done into the hairpin.
Ooh, a little bit of a love nudge as they rejoin the line. I always find that if you do the move into turn 9 and someone's feeling a bit racy, you always slightly collect each other into that next thing, because you can go over that curb, but a lot of people don't choose to.
Yeah, it's a nice overtaking spot. Not as good as maybe turn 1, but because turn 9, the turn before, sorry, is such a hard one to get right, especially if you're in the train. So it's not the most chosen place in the world to overtake unless you're feeling dive bomby.
What's your favourite place on a train?
At the front. Of course it is, at the front. Always be at the front of the train. I like a good train.
The Parker train!
But don't call me Thomas for nothing. Oh, there's peasants. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, I was just. No, you keep it on the racing. I was just going to ask you a Thomas the Tank Engine question. That was all.
Well, I'll do like a good old Thomas Tank Engine question. But I was going to say, Petzer was on the back of Dave, but he's not the best exit at the final corner, so Dave lives to fight another lap. As Jim's actually catching him up pretty quickly now. So Jim, who was about 6-7 seconds behind, has actually gained that gap, done an 18 flat this lap round compared to what's Dave just done. Done an 18. Must have done an 18. Oh, 19-1. So Jim's really getting some pace out of those tyres at the moment. He could be in the battle for third place very shortly.
Definitely. Hammer is down, as you say, really reeling it in. And again, it's one of those, if you're in clear air and you can set your own pace and get into your rhythm, you can bash the time out again and again. Casa gets very close in that chicane to the outside anti-cut, and it always looks slightly ragged. It does worry me, so that's a change of position as Steve Verloy pops into the pits, and he's going to rejoin in potentially 12th or 13th. Someone else is in as well.
Kieran Ryan.
It was. Yeah,
Kieran Ryan in from 21st.
Morton Vernonson has given up.
Oh, he was doing so well.
He was battling for wooden spoon honours, but he'd spun in the entry to the final chicane, and then spun again trying to get out of it, and then I think just went plah.
Why bother? So that's
double.
both.
There you go.
Yeah, I was just about to say same thing as you. Double ST retirement.
Yeah. Double STD. That's another person in the pits. It's Kieran Ryan, who's gone 2 laps down as he rejoins in last position, 21st. Let's get a birthday bump for that. As Casa again starts to reshadow Dave Carr-Smith, and so what he can do again. Pretty much the closest battle that's out there on track as David Judd nearly goes round in the final chicane. Keeps it all in the right order. They're going very well in 8th position and putting well clear now of Jordan Weeks. Obviously Weeks had that problem, but Weeks had leapfrogged Mark Wicks in the pit stops and is now pulled away from Mark Wicks, so they're starting to separate out again.
Yeah, Jordan's driving pretty nicely at the moment. He's obviously pulling away from Wicks. Maybe Wicks is struggling on these tyres. He was looking pretty racy earlier on with Mark Wicks, but he's dropped the pace a little bit now, maybe trying to get those tyres to last a lot longer so they can have a short final stint. Obviously we've got just under halfway through this race.
Verloy jumped Rouse in that as well.
Carr-Smith's in.
Secret sausage. Both TMOs go through.
Where's Tom Vandervoort? Yeah, Vandervoort's in through as well. He's got a nice gap on Carr-Smith, very nice gap on Carr-Smith indeed.
That is Channel Tunnel-esque. And yeah, well through there as Carr-Smith still trundling down the escape. No problems with Bart DeVos because DeVos is still going around some of the sector 3 corners. Carr-Smith will be pretty much on his own as he comes out, but he needs to be careful and get up to speed as quickly as possible, as again he goes for the prime tyres. So it's going to be another long old stint, so he seems to be doing the reverse of what Tom Vandervoort is, and they'll probably do the very last switching strategy just to do the minimum amount of the tyres that they don't want. As someone else changes position, it's Bart DeVos into the pits from 8th.
Yeah, Dave wasn't expecting to see him on the options, on the primes as much as he is. I thought he'd have gone to the options by now, but Tom's got a nice, look at that 14-second gap. He's made that up in the time that he's been out of the pits whilst he was with Dave, so Tom's looking very pretty here for a podium, unless the Torrents managed to make those tyres last a lot longer, which they have been doing very well so far, so it could be an interesting battle for third place here. I can't really call it at the moment.
That is the beauty of pit strategy, as Alex Cooper takes Adam Rouse for 12th position down into turn 1. He had him before they even got into the braking zone. Such is the advantage that the Midnight Motorsport car has over the Halcyon. So that's another one biting the dust for Cooper, and he's straight onto the back of Verloy. So it looks as though Cooper could very well still salvage a top 10 position from what was a huge mistake earlier on.
As Vandervoort's in again. So Vandervoort in for his 3rd stop. So Vandervoort in for maybe even a forced stopper. He's not making his tires back out on the option, so it looks like he's going to make the primes for the final stint.
That's crazy. I mean, he came in on lap 25, 26, so he's only making them last 12 laps. He may have to do a 5, you know.
Indeed, if he can't make these laps, he'll get to lap 40. He'll have to do 26 laps on those. No, 16 laps, sorry. So I suppose you could do a force stop, but he's been doing some damned impressive times on those options in the last few laps. 18s all the way, so he really is pushing as hard as he can to get that third place.
Adam Rouse is disconnected.
Oh, Rousey. Looks like it might have just been a screen freeze.
Just having a quick look on the replay, the car just stops dead for me, so unfortunately that is the end of Rousey and Halcyon, and that's a double Halcyon retirement as well, with Davicus already having binned it in spectacular fashion. So again, 2x2s in pace and in retirement as De Vries and Stanton battle over 18th and 19th positions. Stanton stuck his nose up the in-fire side and then just kind of chopped across and went, no thank you, but Lucas Oiler, Cookie Monster.
Oh, oh wow, that really isn't what Lucas needed. Oh no.
Oh no. That, I was just going to say, he's popping up onto the back and he won't want to deal with that. But David Stanton, round he goes. Euler just takes the escape road, beautifully does it. Stanton takes a trip for the beach kitty litter, back going again in 19th position. But that car, we've seen it. Remember he had that weird
Yes, he did.
lap
He had the
earlier.
weird. Yeah, he's bouncing all over the place. Seems, but then obviously nothing Lucas could do, absolutely nothing David could do either. So it's no one's fault really. But if I was Lucas, I think my trousers would need to be changed.
I tell you what, no better place could that escape road have been, because that was perfectly. If that was just gravel, that would have been so much more of a drama, I think, for Lucas.
I think Lucas would be out. I think it's safe to say Lucas would be out of the race. But yeah, I don't know how he managed to take the escape road so beautifully.
Well, he is Lucas Euler.
And he's a beautiful, beautiful man.
He is. I have a waxwork dummy of him in Madame Tussauds' back room. And it's not made from candle wax, I can tell you that. As he bounces over the outside curb, it does worry me. When I was doing that in my race, when you run out slightly wide and you bounce over, you get that slight lift off, and you just it makes the sphincter tighten. I'm not a fan. So yeah, it does worry me when people do that, and you do then lose momentum all the way down the straight. It does leave you a sitting duck if someone's within, say, 0.3 of a second behind. As something's going on down the straight just ahead of Jordan Weeks, so it's Mark Stanton and Boyd Bryce battling over 16 and 17. Everywhere's a Stanton and everywhere's going to be a drama potentially, but Mark Stanton on the back of the Phoenix F1 guy who is now out of the points. So Phoenix, who were looking so good for 2 points earlier on, currently on Zilch Rondo, and Mark Stanton looks like he wants to demote them further, and Boyd Bryson has very little response, running out very wide and keeping the inside for the next corner. Mark Stanton, I think, is playing the long game for a better exit, but no, Bryson has it covered.
Yep, Jim Priest has been in the pits in the meantime, just come out just behind Dave Carr-Smith, and not just behind Dave Carr-Smith, just ahead of Tom Van Voort, and Tom's going to be slowly ruling him in as Jim's on the high fuel primes, Tom on lower fuel, not much lower fuel surely, but lower fuel than option, so Tom battling for third place really, because Jim's obviously done, I think they've both got one more stop to make, so Jim and Tom could be battling for a net third here. Petter Casa is still going round on those probably very warm primes.
Well, Jim's come back out again on another set of the primes, so he's ahead on if they're going to all have just one stop to go. When he comes out, he's going to come out on the faster tyres, so that's worked beautifully for the Torrent Motorsport guys, and he was 2 seconds behind Casa. So if Casa can just do another couple of laps, you're not going to lose potentially 2 seconds immediately. You maybe get 1 or 2 laps further, and that'll give him better pace for later on when the tyres will drop off quicker. So in fact he's straight in actually, he's not even going to chance it. So he's clearly thinking, I want to keep my third, thank you very much. And we'll see how it goes. Carr-Smith has been obviously into the pits as well and is in 4th position. So it's going to be very much Casa versus Carr-Smith for who's going to keep this little mini 3rd position podium duel.
Indeed, obviously Dave's obviously came in 3 or 4 laps ago. So his tyres are pretty fresh, he's got nice high fuel. There's Petr coming out of the pits now, so Petr's going to be in 4th place, I'd imagine, maybe even 3rd. I think it'd be 3rd, but... Oh, he is! Look at that! Petr's managed to jump in! Impressive stuff from Petr Cassidy. He's on the options as well now.
Yeah,
so he needs to really get it on.
Get it on and bang a gong, as he's got to get the tyres right up to temperature. Car Smith goes to the outside, Casa goes straight for the inside and says, I'm staying defensive and I don't care where you're going, Mr. Car Smith. And he's just got to make sure that he can keep this going for a couple of laps as Boyd Bryson has crashed out and retired. I imagine that was a contact maybe with Stanton because they were going at it. Casa again, very weirdo on the exit of the tyres. David Junt in the pits off your screens as well, as again, Car Smith, he knows that that move doesn't necessarily work because Tom spent half the first stint trying that one. And yeah, you can see the damage of a car of Boyd Bryson as they go through.
Holy moly. Oh, he just destroyed his car. And exit at turn 9, absolutely smashed it. Did what Cinder did last night. Huge accident.
Well, unfortunately, it's not just the back door he smashed in all 4 corners. And that makes for one very wrecked driver and car. So that is why we are now out and just one Phoenix driver left in the race. Casa trying to shake Car Smith off down the straight as we start lap 44 of 66. Nigh on 2/3 distance. Casa pulls back across though. Car Smith takes a little look. Is he having half a time? Oh dearie me.
Surprised that Dave would try something like that. He's usually a very calm, collected driver, so obviously he's obviously trying to play a strategy game, trying to get ahead of Petr. So he goes a bit wider as well. David look a bit ragged at the moment. I think he's a bit shocked that he lost to 3rd place. Got a nice 6-second gap on Jim though, so it's not looking too bad for him. Oh, he's looking going. Ooh, Dave, what's going on, Dave?
Glary, he's got flares on. What's going on? Again, he's not doing that weirdo move that Tom was trying into the chicane, but as you go around the Cassia, it's yeah, he's looking a little bit wide and leery. They've got Moodley and Warren who are battling over 13th and 14th position, coming up to be lapped. That could play a part as Casa.
Oh, it's lag.
Where's everyone gone? I'm still lagging with everyone. We'll soon see if this rejoins and comes back going again.
Yay, Petter's killed some people. He's gone into the stands.
No, no!
Also, I think it might be a server crash.
Oh, my
I haven't
goodness.
seen this all season. Yep,
Wow.
everyone's gone. Oh, no, there we are.
No, other cars have come back.
Lucas, oh, that's going to have to be I think that's going to be a red flag. That's a huge disconnect. Rude, Tom, Jordan, oh no, not Jordan, Jim, Ben's disconnected, no, Steve Verloy disconnected, David Stanton.
Yeah.
That's a mass
Jim
disconnect.
Paresis. Yeah. So the casualties on that, not sure what will happen, but David Stanton disconnects. Steve Verloy is disconnected for Kernow. Jim Paresis for Torrent Motorsport. Petr Casa for Torrent Motorsport. Simrace TV has gone, so you won't be getting any more pictures. Oh dear. So it is still Euler, Car Smith, Van der Vault, then Jordan Weeks, Mark Wicks, David Junt, Bart DeVos, Alex Cooper, Vinod Moodley, Ben Warren, who are battling like nuts.
And red flag. Red flag. I think that was the only choice they could do, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, Monsieur Sensible. Chris Williams is Williamson, sorry, is our race director tonight, and he does the Mr. Sensible decision. He has a voice that could, it's like warm molasses dripping down your ear canal. Love it. He could read me bedtime stories, and I'd be happy as Larry.
So 66% of the race through. I think we're going to have a. I don't know what the rules are. I haven't had this happen for a very, very long time.
But yeah, because we're quite a long way in, let's have a pop at the old regulations.
Mr. Cameraman Extraordinaire is going to go ask. Yep, it looks like we've gone to the next track. So, interesting.
Do you think this happened because you're commentating?
It probably is. Every time I commentate, something goes wrong. I don't know what I've done.
Oh, never mind. I'll give you cuddles.
Yay! I don't know if people should be hearing this or not.
I don't know, but if so whilst we're sorting this out, let's take a time to grill Mr. Parker. When are we going to see you back on track, my good man?
Well, I am in a vision reserve So I've been given dispensation by the admins to drop down. So I am Super Cup reserve for Innovision. I think I'm scheduled to do Silverstone for Scott because Scott can't make it. So Silverstone, with any luck, you'll be able to see me back in an open wheeler, crashing out as always. But I am doing WSS racing, and I've been doing quite well actually for once in my life. So I am still racing. So hopefully in an open wheeler you'll see me very soon.
Awesome.
I do miss it.
On track. There's something about open wheelers. I've done tin tops for a couple of years elsewhere whilst I took a break from 2010 to this year in open wheelers, and I am absolutely poo at open wheelers, but there's something about it. I don't know, there's more of a precision, I suppose, on it. So.
It's nice to have it. It's just a nice feeling going as quick as you can.
Okay, so we're just getting word in that what they're going to do is roll the results back to lap 42 or 43, whichever one it actually crashed out on. Go back to the lap before, and we'll call the race result there. So Lucas Euler will be given the win. And there's debate going on in the channel just saying, well, that ruins my tactics by a few people. I think it's just very unlucky if you just pitted beforehand. Unfortunately, it's a bit like if you're getting a safety car and you've just been into the pits and then it all goes horribly wrong and so on and so forth. So, unsatisfactory end, but unfortunately these things do happen in sim racing. Bit like when F1 decides to put on a race at 5 o'clock at night with no lights on.
So, do you know who finished where? I know Lucas and Rude were first and second. I don't really know who.
Well, it's going to depend where they take the race from, because we just had a pit stop, hadn't we, with Casa and Carl Smith.
Yep.
So in theory, Casa would be third, Carl Smith would be 4, Paresis would be 5, and Van der Voort would be 6.
Yeah, so we're going to get clarification from the RD peoples, Mr. Chris Williamson.
Fab. So we're just going to get a couple of people in for interviews just while we get absolute 100% confirmation. So provisionally then, the win will go to Mr. Lucas Euler, who once again stamped his authority all over it like a fatty on the dance floor. Tell us how it was for you, Lucas, because you seem to be real class of one.
Well, qualifying was quite good. With Alex having a penalty from the last race, he started a bit further down instead of third. I didn't know how good Ruud would start, but he did a pretty great start. I was just about able to hold him into turn 3. I knew my option pace wouldn't be that great because they were just overheating, so I was trying to build a small gap. Enough for my pit crew to do the rest, and from then on the primes I felt much better, was able to pull away, and when my gap was at around 10 seconds I started to manage it really, but there were some close calls with people spinning that kept me on my toes.
Great stuff. But yes, did you find that was possibly the best placed escape road ever in the history of sport?
Well, I was so lucky that I caught it in the right moment and used the other track, and it worked out quite well. I think I even hit the ideal line.
Anything you want to add in there, Tom?
Oh yeah, it's just a good race, brilliant race, Lucas, and really consistent, really well done. Did you have what was your plan for the final stint? Were you going to make another stop, or was it that done?
No, I would have had to stop one more time. Probably I would have stopped and put on the primes again because I felt much more comfortable on them.
There we go.
That comes out now. So no, well done. Then we've got, I think, who will be given third position once all the results are completely sorted out. Petter Kazas with us. Petter, some great strategy calls there from you for going pretty much all on your own in terms of strategy. So talk us through your choices on that.
Yeah, actually a bit surprised that no one was going longer on the primes. And yeah, luckily I was just passing Dave in the final pit stop. But of course, had pretty hard defending to keep the position on the, at least for 2 laps before the server got laggy. So yeah, I guess pretty lucky to get maybe get the 3rd place. So
But that will do you for now. So yeah, it's what did you prefer out there? Because you and Jims and Steve Verloy seem to be the only 3 that were really going absolutely nuts on the prime tyre. How did you feel that they were for you? Do you think you would have? Did you find the drop off on them quite big or anything like that?
well, I think the prime tires was pretty good, but the option tires was the problem because I was actually doing faster laps in range of the primes and on the options, at least on the end of the stint. So for me, the prime tires was the fastest over a whole stint.
Fantastic, Tom.
I wasn't listening. I was reading at funny photos. I'm sorry, Petter. I'm sorry.
Thank
okay,
you.
I've got one. I'm sorry. I love you, Simon.
Okay,
I've
we'll
got a
work it
question
out
to ask
later.
Petter. Were you worried about Dave ever going to get past you, or did you think you had enough to hold it for the final few laps?
I was not sure at all. I have no clue how we would have been going if the server had been fine. So it's not easy to say. I had to defend pretty hard at the lap or 2. I was able to fight with him, and then I don't know. Was anyway another pit stop left, so would have been first time it would really be decided, I guess.
Yeah, there was going to be some amazing racing for the final podium. We were just talking about on the broadcast how the strategic battle was working out. So it's a huge shame it ended like it did, but well done on. Well, we don't know where the hell you finished, but well done on whatever you did.
Woo! Thank you.
Awesome. We've also got Dave Carr-Smith, who we think will be in 4th position, who provided a great little bottleneck of drama for us at the very beginning by having a Dave train going on behind him. But then suddenly you seem to merge with your tyres as if you found the sweet spot and was able to really pound it out. How is that for you? Because you seem to be going from extremes of defensive to offensive to defensive.
It's really difficult. I've found with the tyres here at least that you can't really drive them to the maximum because they just overheat and you lose all grip. So I was trying to drive to a lap time, which obviously caused the train behind me in the first stint. And then I think I made a bit of a mistake by trying to react to Tom rather than going as far as I could have. Seemed to recover okay in the second stint, but I'm not sure if I would have had enough for Petter, given he'd got those extra few laps in the first stint.
So do you think you'd have probably ended up 4th position in what is, I've been told, the 8th best car? So still not bad givens, but just outside the podium.
I think probably 5th, because Tom was very, very quick. Obviously he had to make one more stop than us, but I think he was only about 7 or 8 seconds behind. Yeah, I think 5th, maybe close with Jim at the end, but we'll never know.
No, that is true. The nature of sim racing denies. One last question from me before I hand over to Mr. Peekaboo at Pictures. You've got a plethora of updates coming to your car, I've been told. A little secret squirrel told me after this race. Where do you think that potentially will put you in the long run when you've got next race coming up, Monaco?
In terms of the long run, obviously Midnight have hit their limit now, so everybody else is going to start gaining on them, which is good for the championship. In terms of Monaco, you guys know how much I like it there, so to have a good car there would be, hopefully go for the win there.
Havaroo, there we go, stated. Mr. Parker?
One thing me and Simon picked up on, when you're behind Petter, you got a bit angry. I've never seen you try and overtake someone like that. What was going through your mind when you were stuck behind Petter? You seemed very aggressive, more aggressive than I've ever seen you.
It wasn't angry, but the nature of these tyres, if I'd sat there too long and let Petter get up to speed, I would have just cooked my tyres trying to follow him and eventually fallen back. So you need to try and make the move as soon as possible, which is what I was trying to do. But he was obviously very assertive in his defending.
Bad boy. I think that's it from me.
Oh, I would like to hear an angry Dave Carr-Smith impersonation, though, Tom.
I'm really angry! That's as best you're going to get.
Okay. I was going to do a... That would have been it, just a tap.
Or a...
Oh, yes, that is very true. Slightly wet-eared. We've also got Tom van der Voort, who is Mr. Pit Stop extraordinaire. I swear, you had more pit stops than I did after pit stopping after a curry. But you were doing quite well, being able to bash out quali lap after quali lap, Tom. So where do you think that was going to end up for you?
To be honest, I have no idea. Considering my grid penalty, I decided to go for the 4-stop and maybe pull out a surprise. I think I've walked out 6th pretty much. Maybe I could have gone up to 4th, but I'm not sure in the end.
But you must be pleased with your raw pace in the end with the Nijo car, because obviously Ruud was up there keeping a nice warm cushion on second, and you were busy pit stopping your way up to potentially a podium position as well. Bodes well for the future?
I don't know really. I just hope I can catch up to Ruud, because ever since the beginning of the season he's been a quicker person. He's taking podium after podium, and I'm constantly coming in the 5th or 6th. So I really want to improve my my race pace without getting 4 pit stops a race.
Fair enough. Do you ever sit down with Ruud or work together as a team to try and find out exactly where the gains and losses between the pair of you are?
Well, to be honest, this was the first race where I completely designed my own setup. So this was the first time we really did something different. He opted to go for the 3-stop and I went for the 4-stop because my tires just wouldn't last for a proper 3-stop, or I would lose too much time on the prime. So I think maybe for the future it would be better if we sit down again and look at where we lose much time and where we win.
Fantastic. Well, I'm always fascinated with how teams work together because I like the psychology that goes on behind it. So I may grill you up on that one again in a few races' time just to see how you're getting on. And if you've not killed each other, then I think all is good in the Nijo paddock. Tom, anything you want to
add? Obviously, you were doing a different strategy to everyone else. Do you think third place was possible? Because you did look stunningly quick on your... I think it's your third set of tires. You looked very, very quick. So do you think the podium was definitely doable, or do you think it may have just been a little bit too much for you?
I don't know. As far as I know, I had to go one more stint on the prime tires, and considering I only had 14 laps left on those, I could pretty much do the same lap times on the primes as I did on the option, because the primes just stay cooler. And considering that I would be able to hold the pace that I had, I think I might have had a good shot at third.
Yeah, so it's bad luck, but you were... the pace was definitely there, so hopefully we'll see you on the podium very soon. So, I mean, must be well done to Nido today, but yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Well, hey, it's great to see a range of drivers in the chat room instead of our usual suspects. So please, I'd love to see drivers in here chatting away and having a good old giggle. I think that just about wraps it up for this episode of GPVWC, and what an episode it was. Any particular highlights or leaving thoughts, Mr. Parker?
Obviously Midnight got a bit dicked by Alex getting into trouble early on, so obviously as Dave pointed out, Midnight now at their limit, so I'm interested to see who can catch them up now. Obviously Dave's car's going to be very quick come Monaco, and obviously Dave's Monaco master now, so maybe with Petto, that'll be an interesting one to see next race. So yes, who can assert their dominance from Monaco onwards, really?
Wow. Well, how will we see it? It will be live as ever on SimRace TV. The Monaco Grand Prix, or the IP Forge Monaco Grand Prix, should I say, will be taking place on the 7th, 8th and 9th of May. On the 7th, on the Tuesday, it will be the Formula Challenge, where you get to see me be seriously challenged around the streets of Monaco. I aim to produce a new I've been lapped by X amount of times on that one. Then you've got the Super Cup on the 8th on the Wednesday, and then we'll be back. Myself, Simon Lewis on cameras as ever, and I'm sure a trusty sidekick, maybe Tom Parker. Thank you very much for joining me in the booth today, Mr. Parker. It's been a pleasure having you.
It's been an absolute pleasure commentating alongside you. It's a shame we didn't get to finish it.
No, but don't worry, I'm sure I will finish you off later. It is goodbye from me, and you lot will take care with each other, and we'll see you on the 7th, 8th, and 9th of May for more GPVWC massive action. Bye for now.
See ya.